The late Russian communist leader Vladimir Lenin's embalmed body has been on public display in Moscow since his death in 1924. Well, apparently the body isn't looking all that great because the government has just announced it's going to fork over $200,000 repairing the body. The government stopped funding the upkeeping after the collapse of the Soviet Union back in 1991, and up until now the funding has come from private donors, but apparently it's starting to look pretty bad, so they got to step in and fork over a few $100,000, Joya. But in the post-Soviet era, there's been, a lot of calls for whether or not, they should just bury the guy. A recent poll, this is according to the BBC, more than 8,000 Russians were surveyed, and it found that 62% were in favor of giving him a proper burial, although that idea has been dismissed by the Kremlin. So yeah, let me get gross for a second. Get gross. Okay, so apparently this body, which doesn't even look like a real Lenin anymore because, there's been so much acid and so much repairs done to the body itself. What happens over time is you get dark spots, you get wrinkles, it starts to look nasty. So in the past, they've been treating it with all sorts of different diluted acids that were diluted with vodka and other things like that, surprisingly. Surprise. Yeah. So apparently, look, you could do that only for so long before it starts to look really, really bad. We have some images of the actual body itself. It looks like a wax figure at Madame Tussauds and in Hollywood. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I feel like, it's interesting for me to read about this because, it sounds so odd to go, and visit and be like, oh, there's Lenin's body right there. But it's far be it from me to say whether or not that's appropriate. I think what's interesting about this is the fact that people were polled, and even though it's a slim majority, it's still a majority of people that are like, yeah, maybe.
It is only 8,000 people, though.
That's true. Yeah, exactly.
They've been doing it for so long.
It's like, it's very much a part of the sort of cultural landscape. But I feel like, and then of course, $200,000 to me seems like a lot of money, but it's really, when it comes to government resources, it's not that big of a deal. So I don't know.
One Russian oligarch has more than that in his offshore Panama account. Like, that's nothing. Yeah.
To me, I'm like, geez Louise, but no, that's. Like I said, I think it's an interesting sort of sign of the times if people are starting to change their minds. I would like to hear what more Russians have to say about that.
Right, because he is a very iconic figure, responsible, for one of the most important communist revolutions in the world. So as Americans, born and raised here, what the hell do we know about whether or not he should be buried or whether he should be on display? Totally. I think the idea itself is kind of cool. It's very morbid and creepy, but I think that kind of cool. That kind of stuff is cool. Yeah. So I'm not necessarily saying they need to bury it, but the fact that they're going to be spending, a lot of money, and it's presumably only going to be more and more because you can only do this for a certain amount of time, right? You can't do it forever. Eventually, it's just going to.
Already it's
with the acid and
really creepy looking to me. So the idea of, the idea of someone having to go and be like, oh, we got brown spots, let's pour some vodka on there. And, it's like you're just basically putting Band-Aids on it,
It's been almost 100 years. So I think it's going to get to the point where they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do for the long term. But for now, they're going to spend another $200,000 preserving the body of late Vladimir Lenin's body.